Hi and welcome to Wheelchair Fighting Man. In this vlogcast, we are going to discuss how I feel independent wrestlers can make their own way in the business and attract the attention of bigger organisations, and how I think British wrestling should be showcased. And as a case study for the English independent wrestler, I'm going to use Kimmie A. Not because she's female and I have a huge crush on her, nothing like that at all, but because I've never seen her wrestle. I've seen her practice on her clips on Facebook, and I've seen her statuses because I was involved with KWA, which is now KWE. I did 3 or 4 shows with them and did a little promo thing, and she's now involved with them. But I read her posts. Her posts just come up on the news feed, if I'm being honest. And what I see is someone who's really committed, who's got her heart set on something, and being someone who has my heart on being set on being a good singer-songwriter, it's not just about having that hit, it's just about constantly producing the goods, and I think you can apply one thing from not just one form of entertainment to another, but people forget singer-songwriting is like a competition with yourself, if nothing else. You want to better yourself, you want to make people happy, you want to put the best show on, you want to steal the show, you want to put the best of you forward, you want to make the whole show stronger without you. It's the same thing as pro wrestling. And the discipline is similar to that of boxing, because you have to distance yourself from people, and you have to, forego certain things in your life because you're committed to what you want to do. But what I've realised is, and this is what I think is important, is I've noticed Kimberly A or Kimberly Jameson on Facebook, because I can sense this real genuineness, and I think, actually, hold on, she's really genuine here. That's the selling point. She's got a brilliant, a lovely little Art Deco sort of picture here that probably isn't in full perspective, but at the end of the day, for me, that says heel, that says face, it's as likeable either way. She's committed, she does intergender matches, she does women's matches, and the thing is, women's wrestling is really taking off, let's be honest. Especially since Paige come along and Charlotte Flair, but it's not even that. TNA with the Knockouts division, I watched TNA for a long time just for the Knockouts, just for Awesome Kong, Gail Kim, Mickie James went from strength to strength. Victoria was the best wrestler I saw at TNA. But the thing is, here is the thing about pro wrestlers sort of on the indie circuit in England. Like, you need to be able to divide up what you do into hardcore, like ICPW stuff, to your family button show type stuff. And part of that is down to the booking, and you can't help that as a wrestler. But the thing is, the problem that we have with British wrestling, when I was involved in KWE, which is now known as, we had a program, we could have done so much more with a chair. If we got in the ring, and it would have been 100% safe, there wouldn't have been any problems with a wheelchair and me, actually. But until I got in that ring, I didn't know. It was a bit of a jumble getting me in there, but I respect the guys for helping me do that. But one thing I will say is that, we're supposed to have a referee that's supposed to be frail and female, and sort of be at least smaller than me and JAKA in the showdown. And if you Google Sean Shears, you will find that footage, because we had such a good build up to it. But then the problem was that it just looked like the referee was bigger than both of us, so it kind of it did its job. It entertained. It got a pretty good pop. But the fact of the matter is you need to be able to tell a story in one night. It kind of needs to begin and end and be continuous. in its narrative. But I think what a lot of these young wrestlers need to do, and people like Kimberly, I've uh, said this myself. She needs to blaze her own path, and in a way, if she gets a cheap, ticket to, on the Eurostar across to France, finds a wrestling organisation over there on Facebook beforehand, contacts the tourist board, say this is what I do, then she can organise it weeks in advance, maybe get a dark match. And the thing is, she can Facebook that, stream that, whatever. And the fact is, people will think, wow, what's going on with them? As opposed to seeing the same, no disrespect to anybody else, but if you're seeing the same people in the same car and it's literally the same shots again and again and again, and it's a similar sort of event, but you start seeing people go to, other places, and they're just leaving their hometown to go to a different town in England, for example. Then people are talking about you, one way or another. You've got to make people want to talk about you, and you've got to make people look up and go, bloody hell, what's going on with them? My second point is how wrestling should be booked and how it should be managed in England. ITV has apparently got some rights to it, but I think you need a family-friendly side, but I also think you need to consider the fan like myself, and like the fans that like What Culture and whatever, who like watching the documentaries of the wrestlers, who like, sort of not knowing what's going to happen, but like to speculate about the storylines and whatnot. But also, it would be quite cool to see, to give the viewers that chance to vote for their favourite heel, their favourite face, and give organisations a chance to put their faces and heel together, have them try and work the best match, and actually have us see behind the scenes for real, like I kind of think, like late night poker style, how it's booked. So you've then got two products. You could potentially have two products on one show that is a little bit, dare I say it, the Voice, X Factor, whatever. But it's getting these people out there. TNA did it with their competition thing with Rockstar Spud and blah, blah, blah. But, they weren't big enough really to pull it off. And to be honest with you, the Holy Grail is WWE. But I think even if you can get to wrestle in America, and at the end of the day, it's all about what your scrapbook looks like to yourself. If you've got a good scrapbook of something you enjoy doing, whether that's running, whether that's jumping, whatever the hell it is, dancing, whatever, right? Whether it's juggling balls, I don't know. As long as you're happy with that, then that's what matters. You don't have to reach the top to be good at what you do. You can still achieve a status or a level that, if you want it to be your job, it can be. But, it's all going to happen in time. And, Kimberly's putting in the sacrifice, and a lot of other people are. But, don't stay on the same hamster wheel. Realise when you're on the same hamster wheel. And show these other promoters that you have a brain, you understand the business, and you're doing something about it yourself. And you may not be able to help the booking, but you're trying to help yourself, and you're trying to get yourself more exposure. And people will actually be drawn to you if you are genuine as a heel or a face, and you genuinely want to be there, and you want to put on a good match, and you want to take the risks. People will go for that, and that's the thing. And it's little and often with British wrestling. We get little and often, now and again, and that's how these freelancers need to approach it, is little and often. Because if they're doing it all the time, if you're a local company doing it all the time, we get bored. But if we've got a TV show that gives us different talent, blah blah blah, could lead to a third one. You don't know. But there's a dozen ways to book wrestling in the UK. There's a dozen ways to book it worldwide. But I think you as an independent wrestler or talent have to show people what you can do, so people can go, yeah, they got a brain, I can work with them, and that's good.